Most people don't wake up one day and suddenly become unhealthy. It usually happens quietly, through small choices repeated over years. A little less movement, a little more stress, a few habits we think are harmless. And by the time symptoms appear, the body has often been adapting for a long time. In today's world, modern medicine can do incredible things. We can diagnose earlier, treat faster, and extend life in ways that were once impossible. But there's something science keeps reminding us again and again. The most powerful health decisions usually happen before disease begins. Today, we'll explore why prevention matters more than treatment, what research tells us about it, and how this perspective can quietly reshape the way we think about health and longevity. Prevention isn't about fear. It's not about obsessing over illness or trying to control every variable in life. At its core, prevention is about reducing risk. Most chronic diseases, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, stroke, certain cancers, don't appear overnight. They develop slowly, influenced by long-term patterns. How we eat, how we move, how we sleep, how we handle stress. Treatment, on the other hand, usually begins after damage has already occurred. So prevention isn't replacing treatment. It's working upstream, before the system starts breaking down. Long before a diagnosis, the body sends subtle signals. Blood sugar regulation becomes less efficient. Blood vessels lose flexibility. Low-grade inflammation becomes more frequent. Recovery takes just a little longer than it used to. None of this feels dramatic. Most of it doesn't hurt. That's why prevention is easy to ignore, until it's no longer optional. By the time symptoms become noticeable, the body has often been compensating for years. Treatment at that point can manage the condition, slow progression, or reduce symptoms, but rarely restores the system to its original state. So what does this mean in real life? It means prevention works best when it feels boring, when it happens quietly, consistently, and without urgency. From a scientific perspective, prevention has one major advantage: efficiency. Small changes made early tend to produce outsized benefits later. For example, maintaining stable blood sugar reduces strain on the pancreas. Regular movement improves insulin sensitivity, vascular health, and brain function. Adequate sleep supports immune regulation and hormonal balance. Chronic stress reduction lowers long-term inflammation. These effects compound over time. Treatment, while essential, often works against established damage. It manages consequences, not root causes. This doesn't make treatment less valuable. It makes prevention more powerful. Because prevention doesn't fight disease. It reduces the conditions that allow disease to thrive. There's also a mental shift involved. Treatment tends to be reactive. It's driven by urgency, fear, and necessity. Prevention is proactive. It's guided by awareness and intention. People who focus on prevention often think less in terms of fixing problems and more in terms of supporting systems. Energy, resilience, recovery, mental clarity. Over time, this mindset changes behavior naturally, not through restriction or pressure, but through understanding cause and effect. And that understanding builds autonomy. A sense that health isn't something that only happens in hospitals, but something shaped daily. Perhaps the most overlooked benefit of prevention isn't lifespan, it's healthspan. Living longer doesn't necessarily mean living better. Prevention increases the likelihood that added years are more mobile, more independent, cognitively sharper, emotionally steadier. Treatment can extend life. Prevention improves the quality of the years being extended. That difference matters. So what does prevention look like in everyday life? Without turning health into a full-time job, here are a few grounded ideas. First, consistency beats intensity. Small habits practiced daily often matter more than extreme efforts done occasionally. Second, sleep is foundational, not optional. It's one of the most effective preventive tools for metabolic, immune, and mental health. Third, movement doesn't need to be perfect. Regular, moderate activity supports nearly every system in the body. Fourth, stress awareness is preventive care. Chronic stress quietly shapes inflammation, hormones, and behavior. And finally, knowledge changes behavior. Understanding why something matters makes it easier to sustain. Health is rarely built through dramatic moments. It's shaped through quiet decisions repeated over time. Prevention isn't about avoiding illness at all costs. It's about giving your body the conditions it needs to function well, today and years from now. When we shift our focus from fixing problems to supporting systems, health becomes less reactive and more intentional. And in the long run, that perspective may be one of the most powerful tools we have.